Man, what an experience it has been getting here. For those that didn't see the original vlog of traveling here, the short version is I had a 6 a.m. flight from New York to Minneapolis. We're supposed to get here by 9 a.m. They canceled it yesterday and was like, hey, sorry, we won't be able to get you there until 8 p.m., which wasn't going to work because I already missed the whole first day of the conference. Now I'm missing the whole second day of the conference, and then I'd be here for half of the fifth day. Wasn't going to work, so I was like, I need to figure out a different way. I called the airline and be like, hey, I need to get there. There was a 3-hour wait time, 2 hours and 59 minutes on hold. Like they were like, the estimated wait time is 2 hours and 59 minutes. I'm like, that's not gonna work. I could literally fly to Minneapolis in that time. So I said, forget that. I actually drive an hour to the airport. So I get to the airport. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like determined. I'm gonna find some kiosk and be like, hey, get me on any flight. Put me on any flight to anywhere in the U.S. as long as you can get me to Minneapolis by 9 a.m. My thought process was like, there has to be some sort of flight leaving New York, going to California, and then there's a California flight from like 6 a.m. to Minneapolis 9 a.m. Like, there's got to be somewhere. Fly me to Omaha, Nebraska, where there's a 4 a.m. flight to whatever. I'm happy to sleep on the plane. It's all good. Well, there wasn't any flights leaving New York, period. I guess there was some sort of storm. So what she did though is she started looking at other airports local to my area. So she found Syracuse, which was 3 hours away. She found Philadelphia, which was an hour away. Bradley International, which is in Connecticut, which is like 2 hours away. She found Boston. All these airports had flights, direct flights actually, to Minneapolis that would get me there by 9 a.m. So I was like, okay, let's try Philadelphia. I mean, I'll take a rental car to Philadelphia. It's an hour and 15 minutes away, and we'll do that. By the time she was about to book it, it was already sold out. I was like, okay, Bradley International, 2 hours away. By the time she tried to book it, sold out. So now, like, okay, the only option now was to drive to Baltimore, a 3.5-hour drive, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to be like, it's not feasible. So I call my brother-in-law because he was the one that I drove to his house because I was going to leave my car there because they live in Queens. He's like, let's do a road trip. Let's make memories. Good times. Let's do it. Come on. Let's go to. I'm like, bro. He's like, I'm from Baltimore. I have family down there. I could sleep for a couple hours when I get there and drive home. It's all good. I'm like, you're the best. Okay, let's do it. So we leave 2 o'clock in the morning, drive for 3.5 hours straight. He drove the whole way, actually. He wanted to drive, and I slept for about an hour and 2 different sets. So it was like 20 minutes here and then 40 minutes there for a total about an hour. We get to the airport BWI at 5:30 a.m. I have a 6:07 flight. I go through security. Thank God for TSA pre-check. Went through. I was on the plane before they even finished boarding. So then I slept for about 2 hours on the plane, in and out, because I kept waking up. So I'm running about 3 hours of sleep right now. Shout out to my friend Anjay, who I met through essentially a Discord 6 months ago. We became friends. We realized that we lived near each other, and we met up a couple times, and now he's like, hey, I have a hotel. We have 2 beds if you want to come stay here. So shout out to him. Gary V's conference. Let's talk about that. What a phenomenal event. First of all, just like from when you walked in, like, I think the decoration was sick. When you first walk in, the way that it looks, it's so cool looking. The huge signs. I think one of the coolest parts about the whole experience was the level of detail, the way that they designed inside of the stadium. They have an app. The way that they did the app, it has directions because it's all these side stages if you want to see these side stages. Within the app, they kind of named it towards things within Gary V's universe, essentially, the things he references a lot, which is really cool. A really cool feature of the app was the fact that you can connect with people. So like, there's a contact part of the app where like you can share your QR code and somebody can scan it and it puts it into the app so that you can have people's communication, which is really, really cool. Some phenomenal speakers, some huge names that he was able to book, like tremendous names that he was able to book, some really cool things. I'm definitely learning a ton. It's like little snippets from here and there from all these different people. There's also some like really cool people just attending. Like, I've met some really, really cool people. And the one thing, I sent out a text to a couple of people asking for advice because I want to try and connect with some of these people, but I don't want to be the kind of guy that's just like, hey, let me get a selfie, bro. I love your videos. Like, let me get a selfie. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to befriend these people and be like, hey, I'm a huge fan of your stuff. Like, how can we, like, essentially, how can we connect? I don't want to get something from you. I want to just connect, So I was asking for advice and essentially just like trying to see if there's anything I can offer them, like whatever, in any aspect of anywhere. The music was really cool. Shout out to the artists that performed. Miguel was the headliner, and then there was a couple opening acts, and shout out to opening acts. They did a really good job, especially as an opening act when sometimes the crowd isn't paying attention as much. It's as a musician myself, it is hard to do. It's hard to get into the music and hard to play when the crowd isn't totally engaged. And I think that they did a really, really good job musically, and also just trying to engage and be present while the crowd isn't totally there. I admire that a ton. I also had the absolute pleasure of meeting Mike Boyd, the guy that I had on the channel for an interview. I saw him in the stadium, and I wanted to actually introduce myself in real life as opposed to over Zoom, which was really cool. Also, this was really, really funny. There was always like a 30-person line for a coffee. It was like, took like a half an hour to get a cup of coffee. But your boy over here was like, there is no way I'm going to wait on that 30-minute line. So every time, I got 2 cups of coffee today. Every time I went to go get a cup of coffee, I went to the second person in line and be like, hey, can I Venmo you a couple bucks to get me a cup of coffee? It worked. Both people said yes, and I got my coffee without having to wait online. Also, me and Anjay met a really cool person here, but also had phenomenal pizza at this restaurant. Minneapolis, I don't know what's going on, but this Argentinian pizza, as New Yorkers, we were highly impressed. Overall, an incredible first day. I wish I was here yesterday, honestly, because I wish he was here for the whole thing, but I can't wait, to see what tomorrow brings and what next year brings.
And I know in my head this isn't how it's meant to